Now, the height advantage for Lucian Bute is important. It's true that Glen Johnson has a slight reach advantage, but he's got very long arms, but he doesn't fight in a way that uses that advantage. And of course, the other significant number, 42. When will Glen Johnson, if ever, finally get old? Maybe it's tonight.
And the notable rules for tonight's IBF World Title fight.
These are the unified rules. No standing 8, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the ref can stop the fight. Can't be saved by the bell in any round. And if this fight goes past 4 rounds and there is a clash, if it becomes an official fight, if there's a clash of heads that causes it to stop before then, it would be a no decision. After that, they would go to the scorecards.
It's the moment you've been waiting for. Time now for our main event. Lucian Bute versus Glen Johnson for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. We are set for the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pepsi Coliseum in beautiful Quebec City for the featured attraction of the evening. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à l'attraction principale de la soirée. Well, fans, our World Championship featured attraction is brought to you by Interbox in association with DeBella Entertainment and Warriors Boxing. This bout is sanctioned by the IBF President Darryl Peoples, Supervisor Lindsay Tucker, along with the Quebec Combat Sports Commission, Commissioner Michel Amelin. Our physicians at ringside: Dr. Pierre Mounier, Dr. Marc Gagne. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Andre Huard and Bill Brazeau. Here are judges scoring this attraction from ringside, les juges pour ce combat. From Canada, Pasquale Procopio. From the United States, Jerry Roth. And from Canada, Benoit Roussel. And our third man to the ring, our referee in charge, Mark Nelson. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world en direct de la ville de Quebec, live from Quebec City, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner. L'aspirant dans la coin bleu, wearing red trunks with gold trim, fighting out of Miami, Florida, by way of Clarendon, Jamaica. He weighed in at a trim and ready 166 1/2 pounds. His record stands at 51 wins, 15 losses, and 2 draws, with 35 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the IBF number 9 super middleweight contender, introducing the challenger and former light heavyweight champion of the world, Rouillé Acoulier, l'aspirant, the road warrior, Glен Johnson. And his opponent across the ring, the defending champion in the red corner, le champion dans la coin rouge, wearing white trunks with black trim, originally from Romania, now fighting out of and representing Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He weighed in at 167 1/2 pounds, undefeated in his campaign, 29 wins, no losses, 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making the 9th defense of his title, introducing one of boxing's pound-for-pound greats and popular stars. Here is the undefeated IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Rouillé Acoulier, le champion, Lucian once again our referee in charge now to give instructions, Mark Nelson.
Lucian, Glen, you've already received your instructions in the dressing room for the IBF super middleweight title. You know exactly what I expect. Please give me a good, hard, clean fight and protect yourself at all times. Obey the bell. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
Great energy in Quebec City, something you never see. When Glen Johnson was introduced, Lucian Bute was applauding him with his gloves. The champion, tall, fluid, and suave southpaw, and classy. Lucian Bute putting his title and unbeaten record on the line. 42-year-old Glen Johnson looking to end his year in dramatic fashion and hoping to become one of boxing's top stories of 2011. In all likelihood, this a prelude to the biggest fight in super middleweight history, a tremendous amount at stake. Here we go. Curious to see if Johnson, normally a pressure fighter, attacks early and keeps a faster pace, or starts tactically as he did with Froch.
A point to be made, nobody comes down in weight at age 42. He's done it now to 168 on 2 different occasions against Alan Green, who he beat, of course, and Carl Froch, who he fought very well against. And he said it's gotten easier every time, and he said no problem getting 168 for this fight.
And you got to believe him because of his performances.
Yes.
I mean, the guy has seemed to be getting stronger, more energized throughout these fights. But what's important now is that he not let Lucian get busy early and have a lot of success early.
And Bute, an impressive offensive fighter. The crowd will react to almost everything he throws. Very fast hands, can end it on one punch to the body or head. Deeply focused, smart. He knows how to control a fight, and he is a vicious body puncher with that laser uppercut, which is often the punch you don't see. A variety of effective weapons.
There's the Bute jab. He wants to establish that. And the thing to look at early, too, I think, is whether Bute is giving Johnson any angles or staying in the pocket against him.
It seemed like they're toe-to-toe. They're facing each other. And right now, at this distance, I think Glen is doing okay. I mean, you don't see Lucian really backing him up or having the distance to land something hard.
It's never been easy to look good against Glen Johnson. Bute's trainer, Stéphane LaRouche, expects a hard fight, the kind of fight where you say, this is how champions are made. They know Johnson is resilient, never gets discouraged. Bute said, I'm ready to suffer. Johnson, the consummate pro, steady, careful, fierce, determined, dependable. As mentioned, never down, stopped just once in 68 fights, imposes his will.
I know Lucian is a veteran in the game. He's holding that right hand very, very low.
Just thinking about that.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like if Glen can move to the left, he can utilize, that jab just got through. He can utilize that jab effectively.
And Glen Johnson has one of the best double left hooks in boxing, which would also be effective because of that low hands.
Johnson's had his ups and downs with southpaws, and the lefty Bute feels his speed and sharpness will compensate for Johnson's experience. If Bute has a flaw, he does hold that right hand low. We'll see if Johnson can take advantage with the aforementioned double left hooks.
Johnson's going to have to win these rounds. Going away, you have 2 Canadian judges, and that's what has been his problem. His Achilles heel in the past. He looked good only a little bit in rounds, and he don't win them going away.
Bute in the white with the black trim, Johnson in the silver with the red and gold. Bute looking to finish the opening round strong. Our translator in the Bute corner will be Pierre Bernier.
Going well. Your head's got to constantly moving. The more your head moves, when you stand up straight and use the jab. When you're standing up too straight, he's disturbing you. Keep using the jab. Don't drop both hands, Lucian.
Beautiful
We
round.
talked in round one about the right hand of Bute being just a little bit low. It's very low. Johnson trying to take advantage of it, and in this case, he's able to do it with a very nice jab, and Bute missing with the right hook. There wasn't enough of that probably for Johnson to win the round, but that was a good moment.
A systematic workmanlike round for Bute, who takes that first round. He's 29-0 with 24 knockouts, 9-0 in world title fights, 8 by knockout. He's won 6 straight inside the distance.
Steve, I don't know, so I'm not going to really give that round to Bute just yet because I thought Glen landed more jabs.
Really?
And Bute landed a good shot over here in the blue corner. I don't know if that was enough to steal that round.
I told you never to disagree with me.
That's in our contract, actually.
I'm just kidding. Round 2 scheduled for 12. Johnson 51-15-2 with 35 knockouts, 39 more fights than Bute. 2-6-1 though, with 1 knockout in title fights. The KO though over Roy Jones, though it was the start of his decline.
Now, Johnson hasn't thrown too many right hands yet. Antonio, I'm wondering, will he not throw the right early to kind of lull Bute into the sense that he doesn't know when it's coming?
I'm not sure, but he's definitely having some success with that jab.
Yeah,
just not backing Bute up with it, but Bute has found a home for that right hand. He's countering it every time Johnson leads with that right.
A lot of head movement by Bute, shoulder feints, keeps you guessing. And you never know when that uppercut's coming. That's the one that really nails you.
Antonio's point's well taken. Johnson's really starting to work the jab, and with commitment now. Not everything's landing, but it's helping to set the pace for him.
You know, Al, what I've noticed that Johnson is not taking Bute's shots that well. It seems like he's hesitant and he's stopping every time Bute lands a shot.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah, Glen looking a little mechanical right now. Not able to connect. Looking for a body shot on Bute. He is an excellent body puncher. He is keeping it in the middle of the ring, which is what you should do against Bute.
You know, I might disagree with that because I've seen Glen Johnson fight. I mean, this guy is aggressive. Yeah. For some reason, he's not pushing the action. Yeah. You know, maybe he knows something about the Bute power that we don't know. Maybe he's just respecting him too much, too soon, this early in the fight.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to have to get close and fight off his chest and push Bute back a bit, or it's not going to work here tonight. Certainly not from this distance.
Well, this is the way he started with Froch, if I recall, right?
You're absolutely right, Steve. And ultimately was able to then get those right hands in.
He started going in about the 3rd round, and then, of course, he had that tremendous 8th round.
And the problem is, though, as usual, he ended up losing a close decision.
Final seconds of the 2nd round.
Obey the bell here, guys.
You're not letting him get a feel for you because you keep pointing at it. But you know what? Just don't punch it. Don't fire a hard jab because that's the jab you can counter. Because when you do a hard jab, you can make too much body to it. All right? Just bend those knees, stay back, and keep pointing. But when you punch,
Showtime Championship Boxing is back Saturday, December 3rd at 9 p.m. with 2 title fights. Marazek Beko 2, the rematch from August for IBF bantamweight title, plus Anselmo Moreno defends his WBA bantamweight crown against Vic Darchinyan. Also, immediately following boxing will be stare down, Ward versus Froch.
Something forgotten maybe in the controversy. Marazek Beko was a really good fight. Forget the controversy.
I think the whole fight itself had everything, including the controversy.
Yes, that was pretty fun too.
Let's see if things pick up here in round 3. That 2nd round almost smacked of an extension of their sparring from 2 years ago. There was too much respect.
And that's what I noticed early, Steve. I mean, both fighters, they're not pressing it.
And if that continues, that benefits Bute, who, of course, can box from the outside more effectively.
Right now, they are fighting like friends. Let's see if that changes.
When Johnson reaches with that right hand, he puts himself in harm's way of a counter left or an uppercut from Butэ. And in 3 of his last 4 fights, Butэ has scored a knockdown with that uppercut. The total punches demonstrates Buté's control of this fight, throwing less than Johnson, but landing at a better pace.
And it's hard to argue with that. You know, Johnson don't want to put himself behind the 8 ball and need a knockout of a guy that's never lost before.
Right.
He's going to have to pick up the pace.
And Johnson knows it's not going to be easy to get a decision here.
And Steven's point was well taken. This was the way the Froch fight started. So, you know, Glen was on the outside and couldn't get inside until the 3rd, 4th, or 5th rounds.
Johnson just did land with a nice jab. Trying to go to the body with the right. Johnson now picking up the pace a little bit.
But he's not moving forward, Steve. He has to double up. See how he reached with that right hand? It was missing. He's too far out. He's going to have to double up with that jab to get closer.
Johnson off balance, stumbled.
No, he got hit in the top of the head with a right hook, and again, he did not take that punch well.
There's the uppercut from Butэ. And Johnson's circling the wrong way. He's going to his right instead of going to his left. Just for a veteran of his ilk, that's shocking. You've got to get to your left against a left-hander.
You can hear the smattering of chants from time to time, but this crowd is waiting for an opportunity to really erupt.
There's some water there.
You know what else is odd when you look at these 2 fighters? Bute's the true 168-pounder. He looks so much bigger in the ring. Even though Johnson has come down from 175. That's the first right hand Johnson even got close with to the head of Butэ. So we'll see if maybe he closes the range a bit.
Big right hand miss, whizzed by the ear of Butэ.
And talking about Johnson in his previous fights, normally he's a great body puncher. I haven't seen him work the body at all tonight. I mean, you know, styles make fights. Maybe Butэ has the bad style for Glen Johnson.
It almost appears as if Bute's holding back a little bit here. Let's see what unfolds.
I wouldn't say that. I think he's taking his time.
Measuring, yeah.
He's being extra careful. Pierre Bernier, our translator.
Good job. Real good. Keep doing the same thing. Stay solid. Hey, energy's good, explosive. When you're blocking, it's good. It's what we want.
Lucian Bute is not known as a monstrous right hooker, but here's one that bounced off the top of Glen Johnson's head. As you pointed out, Antonio, he's not taking those punches as well as you'd like to see.
Oh, it seems like he's been hurt by all the punches that land solid. I mean, if Bute step on the gas, he may be able to do something great tonight and stop Glen Johnson.
Which would be a first. Only it cuts against Hopkins.
That was his first loss, his first world title fight.
Even Antonio Tarver didn't stop Glen Johnson.
Antonio 1-1 against the Road Warrior, but he got the rematch. Round 4 scheduled for 12 for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. Lucian Bute in the white with black trim. Glen Johnson in the silver with red and gold.
Glen Johnson has been predictable now. He's throwing the 1-2. Why won't he follow that up with a left hook or something? He just cannot rely on the 1-2.
Johnson flicking the jab. Bute aiming for the midsection. There's a jab that got through by Johnson, but not a lot behind it. Pawing jab.
Bute sparred with Alejandro Barrio, who he won the title from years ago, and also the brother of Librado Andrade, a guy who hurt him very badly in a fight. So he brought in some people that are not necessarily in his camp normally, and they helped him prepare for Glen Johnson.
Bute Andrade, the rematch, drew close to 16,500 here at the Pepsi Coliseum back in November '09. A big fourth-round knockout. That was from a body blow by Bute. There's a body blow by Johnson.
And the fight in 2008 where Andrade had Bute all but out on his feet in the final seconds of that fight. The last time Bute's been hurt, and since then they've reinvented him into a puncher.
Johnson continues to fight from the deep outside. He's being very careful, doesn't want to get close, and his punches are just falling short.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to take some chances that he may not be willing to take in order to get the results that he's looking for. He got to make this a tough fight for Bute. He's just too comfortable right now, round after round.
There's the combination from Bute. He's closing the gap. There's a nice left hand by Bute. Those hit gloves.
Bute claimed that during their sparring he was able to hurt Glen Johnson, and Johnson never hurt him. Johnson's people, Orlando Cuellar, his trainer says that Johnson dominated most of the rounds they fought. So different remembrances, but right now Bute's getting the better of things.
As we head for the bell. Well, our text message poll question, Lucian Bute last fought in the United States in 2004. And our question tonight, should Bute fight another Super 6 participant in the U.S.? Text yes or text no to us here at SHOWZ. That's 74699. Standard text messaging rates apply.
Yeah, I think as great as this atmosphere is here, and clearly and you can see some of this great crowd, the fact of the matter is we always want to know how fighters will respond when they go places. You, in your last fight, had to go down to Australia and fight amongst a hostile crowd. We want to know how fighters will do.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he can get half of these people to travel with him, I think we're on to something.
That's really a good point, and maybe an eastern location in the United States would allow that to happen. Yeah, but you can get them all in a big bus. You have some cocktails. It'll work.
Big crowd on hand here at the Pepsi Coliseum, set for round 5 in the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. Their hero is Lucian Bute, the road warrior, 42-year-old Glen Johnson, ready to continue. The fans waiting for something big to happen from the left-hander.
You know, Stephen LaRouche told Bute, he said, you're going to be hit with the right hand at some point in this fight that's going to hurt you, and then the fight's on. You know what? He might be wrong, though. Maybe he won't get hit with a big right hand by Glen Johnson.
There's the right hand by Glen Johnson.
Just not quite getting there yet.
Yeah, he's still too far out. I think Antonio's right. He's got to take some risks, take some chances, and get in there.
And, you know, Johnson's throwing the jab but not walking in behind it.
Right.
I think that's the issue.
And it looks like he's trying to counterpunch Bute. I mean, that's good to do, but at the same time, you got to step up. You got to land some thrusting shots early.
Straight left hand by Bute pushed Johnson back.
Well, we said that the jab
straight
would be
left.
a big weapon of Bute. Excuse me, Stephen. Those numbers indicated Bute is connecting on over 50% or almost 50% of his jabs.
As per usual, it's Bute in command of the fight.
You know, you mentioned the counterpunching. I think Johnson thinks he's going to land a counter right hand as Bute comes in, but you can't rely on that.
You can't rely on it, and it seems like, oh!
Right hand by Johnson.
As we speak.
Finally, he did it, and he did exactly that.
Well, so far, it's been a non-competitive fight. Let's see if things pick up.
That was the best moment of the fight for Glen Johnson.
It did kind of surprise the champion.
And Johnson did say, you know, the right hands he landed against Froch, he said no other super middleweight would have stood up against those right hands. Froch, of course, known to have a great chin. And Andrade did hurt Bute with the right hand.
I still would like to see Glen Johnson throw some body shots.
Yeah.
Work that left hand is right there available for him. and continue with the jab, but get closer with it.
And Bute's done there's an overhand right, so the distance is coming, but Bute trying with the uppercut. Bute has done a very good job of controlling the tempo of this fight and the distance, but I'll tell you what Bute's doing now. He's getting low, Antonio, and that's a mistake for him.
Bute picking up the pace. There's a body shot by Johnson, counterattack by Bute. Bute now getting closer. The crowd sensing something.
The closer he gets, though, the more he has a chance of getting hit with the right hand.
But it's Bute scoring to the body and the head. Final seconds, round 5.
Obey the bell here. All right, catch your breath. All right, you're doing good. You're doing good. You're staying under. This ain't no one-sided deal. All right. He fired. You got to answer back a little bit quicker. That's all. You got to answer back a little bit quicker. When you fire the right hand, don't stand straight up. Fire the right hand and drop and dip. Fire and dip. All right? Don't fire the right hand and come back up. You need to start firing and dropping. Fire and drop. But you got to slide to your left because that's the only way the right hand will be centered. The way he's moving, you're going this way, he's going that way. So when you fire the right hand, he slides a little bit, it's off the mark. But even if you crash into him, you got to go left. We got to start putting
Well, the chances that Antonio suggested Glen Johnson needs to take, he comes in with that right hand and gets hit with the left in return. Now, that right wasn't quite as dramatic as we thought when we saw it live, but still, he was able to get that punch in.
Well, now, things beginning to heat up a little bit, mostly because of Bute. And here we go into round 6, scheduled for 12 for the IBF Super Middleweight title in Quebec City, Bute's hometown. Bute flicking the jab. Here comes Johnson retaliating with his jab. Oh, nice jab to the jaw by Johnson. Couldn't follow it. Right hand, but off balance. He got that right hand in. Good to see him move forward.
He got to look closer with the double jab, and that's what he needs to start doing.
You can feel a different body language from Glen Johnson in this round. We'll see if it translates into effectiveness. The jab's a big weapon now for Glen Johnson. He's coming with the right behind it. I think he understands that he is in dangerous territory here in round 6, having given away virtually all these rounds.
Yeah, he's digging himself a hole, so he's really got to pick it up. There's the straight left hand, a double left by Bute.
One thing about Lucian Bute, you know, he's a risk taker now himself. He's leaning in, taking away his height and reach advantage, just, you know, saying, I'm going to stand here and punch with you. That's the new Lucian Bute. That's what he does.
Yeah, he's having, you know, he's standing right in front of Glen, giving Glen opportunities, but I just feel that Glen is a little bit reluctant to get as close as he needs to.
Right hand there by Johnson. There's the uppercut, but it was a glancing blow. It didn't hurt Johnson. Straight left got him.
Don't let anyone ever say that Lucian Bute is still a boxer or a boxer-puncher. He's a puncher. Stands in front of you and wants to bang.
That jab of Glen Johnson has been very effective this round.
Yeah, he's ready to slug with Johnson, but Johnson won't do much offering. He just picked off that right, did Bute.
It's been a more interesting round on many levels, and Johnson has done some good work, but Bute answering back everything.
Right hand off the head by Bute, straight left by Bute. Look at the speed of those punches. Tried the uppercut, but it fell short.
Now, there was a two-punch combination by Johnson, but Antonio, he did not finish it with the left hook. When was the last time you saw that?
And the left hook was there. I haven't seen him throw one left hook tonight.
Boy, are you right. And when you were in the ring with Glen Johnson, you understand that's a weapon for him.
Bute really in a rhythm now, although he got tagged by a Johnson jab.
Even though the jab is working well for Glen Johnson, he knows he can't win this fight with a jab alone. He's going to have to hurt Lucian Bute.
Straight left hand by Bute. There's the jab, a body attempt by Johnson, but it's all Lucian Bute.
Position for him to land his left body shot or his left strike.
They are tangled up. Glen Johnson has his foot in the wrong position inside the lefty's foot. And that is why that right hand was not delivered well as he went off balance. So a basic mistake by Glen Johnson. And here's Bute landing those, the right hook, which is not his best weapon, but it's landed well in this fight. And we see Bute with the left hand, Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, those are pity-pat punches, but they're scoring. And I'm more impressed with the left hook, the right hook, I'm sorry, of Bute. It seems like it hits Glen Johnson on the temple and really gives him problems.
You're going to give it to him. I want them to get it.
Final instructions from his trainer, one of the best trainers, Orlando Cuellar. But you're right. I mean, Johnson just looks frustrated, disoriented, and it's all Bute as we enter round 7.
We will take a look at press row scoring, and interestingly, Vincent Moran of the Journal de Montreal has it the closest, and Dave Spencer from Fight News and Jack Todd both with pretty good margins for Lucian Bute, as we would expect. I actually haven't given Johnson a round.
I haven't given him a round, but I did score the first round even. I mean, nothing really happened, and I thought if anybody deserved that round, it was Johnson.
Yeah, no, that was a close round.
I know.
Little slippery section in the ring. Straight left hand zeroed in by Bute. Bute going downstairs and up. There's a right hook that's scored to the head of Johnson. Let's see if that gets Johnson going.
You know, Johnson's jab has raised just a little puffiness underneath the right eye of Bute. Nothing dramatic, but it's a demonstration that at least something has worked for Glen Johnson. Not much.
A one-sided affair to this point. All Lucian Bute.
We would have thought that this style that Bute is fighting would have made this a more exciting fight because he's in the range for Glen Johnson to hit him. He's just not able to do it.
And it just seems like Glen Johnson balance right now is eluding him. He seems like when he do throw the 1-2, he's reaching and he's off balance. That really doesn't give him an opportunity to load up with the power.
Lucian Bute, who is 11 years younger than Glen Johnson. Johnson turns 43 in less than 2 months.
Right there. Where's the body work from Glen Johnson? He's right there and he's available to be hit. Glen will not let go.
Yeah, we were thinking the same thing at the same time. That's when Johnson takes a step in, rips those double left hooks and right hands. He didn't do any of that right there.
Interesting. So. Yeah, Johnson on the short end of many close decisions away from home. A hard luck guy through the years, but he's not putting himself in a position right here to be even in a close decision.
And knowing that he's in Lucian Bute's backyard, he has to take this fight from Lucian. He cannot allow him to just dictate round after round.
When was the last time you saw Johnson not throw left hooks to the body and the head? He just hadn't thrown any.
And this is a bad place to be on the ropes against Bute, who looks to fire bombs. Bute now smothering Johnson.
Lucian Bute's a seek and destroy kind of guy now.
Bute all over Glen Johnson.
How do you feel? All right? Give me this.
Lucian Bute is not known to have a hugely powerful right hook, although it's a good punch for him. In this fight, it's been a primary weapon over a lazy jab of Glen Johnson. And Bute very busy here, Antonio.
Yeah, and right there, he's finishing with that devastating right hook. And I know why Glen Johnson is reluctant to open up, because it seems like Lucian is coming back with great counterpunches.
And this at the end of the round when Johnson got against the ropes and looked very, very tentative at this juncture. More tentative than we've seen Glen Johnson in a long time.
And what I saw was Glen Johnson, 42 years old, walking back to his corner, and he looked like a rejected fighter, Steve. He sat down very slowly in his corner the last round.
Yeah, he almost a sign of resignation. He just doesn't have any answers. This is not the same Glen Johnson that the fans know and love. He just can't get it done here tonight. Is this a result of the effectiveness of Lucian Bute, or are we seeing a terrific former champion get old in one night?
I think it's a combination of both. He was very good against Carl Froch, but you know, when you reach this point in your career, especially the kind of fighter Glen Johnson is, there can be a night when the old saying is you get old. But it's been a lot Bute and some of his skills eroding.
Yeah, and then you have to think also, this is a guy that came down from the light heavyweight division, and he has to lose that weight no matter what. They can say all they want, that we're dieting and we're using nutrition. Losing those extra pounds hurts you every time.
Has it finally all caught up?
And maybe, and of course, that's why nobody does it at age 42. It's just not done. But, of course, as long as he's in that ring and winging right hands, Glen Johnson still has a chance to hurt Bute. We'll see if he can do it. He certainly needs to.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Bute continues to control the tempo, the action, the entire fight.
And, you know, if Lucian Bute fights this way against all those A-listers we're talking about, the Wards, the Froches, the Ketzlers, we're in for some fights. Because those guys, I think, will be able to make it more of a firefight.
I mean, he's right in front of Glen Johnson. Yeah. This is no excuse that Glen can't let his hands go. And, I mean, even when the opportunity is there, it seems like Glen Johnson can't pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Very disappointing from the standpoint of competitiveness. The fans want to see more give and take. They're not getting it here.
You can't blame Lucian Bute, though, and he is performing extremely well.
No, you celebrate Lucian Bute.
Right there, those punches are landing solid.
Right hooks by Bute. Again, Johnson's never been down in his career, stopped just once, and that was on a cut. And that was a long time ago. (1997), his first loss when he was stopped. Final seconds of round 8. Another one of the books for the champion. Just missed with a straight left. He got Johnson there. Johnson now with his mouth open, which means well, there's more boxing coming your way in the weeks and months ahead here on Showtime. Next Friday, November 11th, Showbox. The new generation returns as Austin Trout fights Frank Laporto for the WBA Super Welterweight crown. You'll be there, Al.
I will indeed, sitting here with Antonio and Steve Farhood. And then on December 2nd, Anthony Durrell, the brother of Andre, a talented fighter, will be on Showbox.
And then Antonio, Saturday, December 3rd, Showtime Championship Boxing presents Marazek Beko 2.
Hey, that's the rematch. We don't want to miss that. And also, Vic Darcini is on the undercard, and we know a knockout is always right around the corner with Vic.
Absolutely. And coming your way Saturday, December 17th, the Super 6 World Boxing Classic Final, Ward versus Froch.
And then we're going to close out the year with two terrific fights. The first one on December 30th, Jermaine Taylor making his long-awaited return to the ring.
And then Saturday, December 31st, it's a New Year's Eve celebration with 4 undefeated fighters in action on Showtime Championship Boxing.
And you know what? That's New Year's Eve, so Day and Cloud better bring the fireworks.
For more on all of Showtime Sports' upcoming events, visit our website at sports.show.com. It is round 9, scheduled for 12 for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. Just about every round has been Lucian Bute's, the left-hander in the white with the black trim. It has been a disappointing performance for 42-year-old Glen Johnson.
You know, Lucian Bute his punches take a toll, and this is usually around the time in a fight. We saw it against McGee, in fact, in this very round, where those body shots and the uppercuts start to really take their toll. Bute hasn't gone to the body as much as he has in other fights, but he's capable of one-punch knockout power and has scored knockdowns in 4 of his last 5 fights with body punches.
The fans remember the one against Andrade in the rematch here at the Pepsi Coliseum.
And the interesting thing is, you know, this obviously not been a great night for Glen Johnson, but here he is against Bute, who scored knockouts in his last 6 title defenses. And the thing you have to say about Glen Johnson is taking monster shots. He's still there.
Yeah, he's still in the fight, but he has to know that he has to do something big. He has to hurt Lucian, maybe drop him, and maybe stop him if he wants to secure victory tonight, because he has to know he's behind now.
He needs a knockout to win this fight, yeah, or multiple knockdowns.
And Bute, in case you're wondering, has been down just once in his career, and it happened in the 12th round of the first fight against Librado Andrade. And that was a very controversial fight because the referee gave him a long count. He gave him time to recover. He could have very well lost that fight to Andrade.
Very revealing numbers in terms of the total punch numbers. That's pretty staggering. Not only landing at a good rate, just a little under 50% for Bute, but landing so many more than Glen Johnson.
Yeah, and you know, Glenn gonna say, hey, I threw just as many punches, but it's the connect percentage. The connect percentage that he's gonna have a difficulty with.
Johnson coming back, almost like he got a wake-up call. He did nail Bute with the left, but Johnson got the worst of that sequence.
This fight is an interesting one because I don't know if we can ever point to a Glen Johnson fight where his most effective punch was the jab, and that was the only thing he landed.
Well, he knows he has to use that jab in order to stay in the fight.
Oh, there's the left uppercut.
I want to point out that Lucian has landed some tremendous shots in this round, and they're taking a toll on Glen Johnson.
He's wearing him down this round.
He really is. Another jab by Johnson. And Bute comes roaring back. That's what you call controlling a fight. You get hit and you come back with 3 or 4 of your own. Crowd revs up at the bell. Pretty good action near the end.
Don't say Lucian Bute's not taking chances or fighting all out in this fight. He is. They're on the inside. That's that uppercut to the body. It's a punch that has produced knockdowns before, and it made Johnson flinch. Then on the inside, you see Bute right on the inside. That's the uppercut. That's one of the best punches he has.
And what's so beautiful about that, he finished with a short check right hook that landed perfect on the temple of Glen Johnson.
When he fights, he's fighting 2 or 3 shots. When you fight, you do jab, jab, right hand. Jab, jab, right hand to the body. You got to do a little bit more. You got to get close where you can mix them both up. Head and body shots. All right? You got
And right now, Glen Johnson really looks like an old warhorse. Not a lot of kick left in that horse.
And like I said, Al, earlier, you know, Glen Johnson has been very, very busy. He's been fighting. His last fight was less than 4 months ago. Sometime wear and tear on your body, it's not good. Sometimes a fighter just has to take time off to let his body heal.
Yeah, especially as you're an older fighter and coming down in weight, as we pointed out.
Right hand by Johnson. But one and done. Again, pawing with the jab. That's not going to get it done.
The part that I think you have to like if you're a boxing fan about Lucian Bute is he's standing right in there trying to close the show. He's not boxing. He said, I'm going to try and close the show here. And I'm taking chances to do it.
Yeah, he's firing away to the body and the head. He's trying to end it here in the 10th. Johnson may be disappointing, but he does have a lot of heart and a lot of will.
No leverage on the punches of Glen Johnson. That's the problem right now. The power punches will reveal a lot of what happened in this. Now, in the last round, 15 power punches to 2, and overall the edge is big for Bute.
Yeah, it just don't seem like any snap in Glen Johnson's punches, and Bute is landing some thunderous punches. He's in close. He should be exchanging right now to give himself a chance for the big punch.
And Bute's squaring himself up, making himself a target, and there's that jab that lands.
Got him on the ropes here. Johnson just looks like he's running out of more gas. The tank looking close to empty. Tried to sneak in an uppercut, did Glen, but to no avail. There's another one. Those punches have absolutely nothing behind it.
Finally, 2 left hooks from Johnson. Finally, but they did, and there's another one, and it's there for him. That punch is there for him.
Lucian looked like he's setting up something big right here. I know this guy want to put on a performance tonight and be remembered for stopping the rugged Glen Johnson. Let's see if he can get it done.
He's trying.
You know, he's thinking, I want to end this in emphatic fashion and then move on to the winner of the Super 6.
It's quite apparent Bute doesn't think Johnson can hurt him at all right now because he's laying himself out there. And you're right, Antonio, trying to set something up big by making himself available to Johnson. Johnson got the left hook all night right there. When he lands it, he can't hurt Bute with it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Bute respects Glen Johnson power at all. He's walking straight through this guy.
This is really fascinating.
10 seconds remaining in the 10th round. Johnson looks like he's in trouble. 5 seconds in the round. Bute holds off, and the bell will sound.
You ended that very well. Very well. Beautiful finish. 2 first right hands you set at the beginning of the round. Useless. Glen Johnson's in front of you.
Now, Glen Johnson was able to land there. Bute with some good combinations. You see the left hook, it's available, but he didn't really get into leverage on that punch, Antonio, and didn't throw it with conviction.
Not at all. He has his knees locked. That's why he can't get his leverage.
Exactly.
Now, look at those shots by Lucian Bute. Overhand left and a sneaky right hook in here at the end. I mean, he's doing a great job. He smelled the end.
You made a really good point there. There's no bend, no body movement where Johnson gets the right leverage to throw those hooks.
No, he's standing straight up, and he cannot get the leverage he needs to put some hurt on Lucian.
Look at the hand speed by Bute as we hit the championship rounds, round 11.
Now, you see a different posture by Bute. He's now fighting at distance, keeping his hands up. What he was doing before, honestly, while it was fun to watch, is really a bad maneuver on his part. Squaring himself up, making himself available to Johnson. Something bad could happen. You could get cut.
I'll tell you what, I mean, we've witnessed these Super 6, super middleweight fighters go toe-to-toe. But I'm telling you, what I see in Lucian Bute tonight is unbelievable, man. This guy really is making, I know, a tough fight look very easy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And he's a guy that wants to go out there and destroy you. And if he fights this way against the Fraches and the Wards and the Kesslers, we're going to have some monstrous fights.
Lucian Bute facing his first legitimate marquee fighter, and he is just getting it done on his way to his 30th victory, unless something very dramatic happens here from the fists of Glen Johnson.
It seems like he's just stalking Johnson right now, and he wants him to open up, and he's going to bait him with something very hard here, either uppercut or that sneaky right hook he's been throwing all night.
But will we say this is the night that Glen Johnson got old, or was it, like Al says, a combination of things? Of course, you have to give credit to Lucian Bute, who has just controlled this fight from start to this point.
Well, I'll tell you, with Glen Johnson, he'll probably be able to fight anybody competitively up until he's about 50 years old. But, you know,
he might.
Right now it's about winning championships, and it doesn't seem like he can get over that hump of winning these titles.
He's always been a world-class fighter, but I'm not sure he'll ever be a world-class champion again based on this performance.
And you know, Bute is a difficult challenge for him. This is a big, strong left-hander. He used to be a boxing left-hander, a guy that moved and didn't get leverage. Now he's just a big puncher.
Oh, yeah, he's super big for the super middleweight division. I mean, looking at this guy, I stood toe-to-toe with him. He can be a solid cruiserweight, man. He just got a major size advantage over the other fighters.
Yeah, the light heavyweight division, in fact, he told us he will move up to 175 at some point in his career. But we sure hope he'll have a lot of good 168-pound fights first.
Bute again picking it up there, doing it in spurts.
And you know what I like? Right hooks by Bute. That's not a punch he's known for. He's really used it well tonight.
Obey the bell. All right, last round here.
And it's gonna. You okay? Reset. Remember what we said. Reset. All right.
It's the last round. Touch glove.
Set yourself up.
And instead of fighting the right hand to the body, you got to get a little bit closer.
That's the last round. You're doing a great job. Touch gloves, okay?
Don't fucking touch gloves because you know what this is going to do. On the bell range, you don't touch gloves. You got to be careful. Listen. You got one.
Well, you could say all you want about the rough night for the heavy-breathing Glen Johnson there in the corner, but you got to give credit to Lucian Bute, who continuously packs arenas. 16,000 people strong here at the Pepsi Coliseum. He's undefeated. The fans love him. He's got the matinee idol looks, and we could be hearing a lot more from Lucian Bute in the years to come. It's really going to be interesting to see if he does get in there with either Andre Ward and Carl Froch to finally solidify himself as the #1 super middleweight in the world. That's his motivation.
And I know when they first went with the super middleweight tournament, they had him out of it. He felt rejected. He wanted to prove to everybody that he was the best, if not the best super middleweight in the world. And I think he's got a step closer to doing that tonight by a dominating performance over very rugged Glen Johnson.
And I think the thing that you look at with Lucian Bute, it's the way he does it now. He's turned himself into a fighter who is looking to make exciting fights.
Now, let's not forget, this is just months removed from life and death with Carl Froch.
Yeah.
Glen Johnson performed very, very well. You can't say the same tonight.
No. And the one thing Bute has that none of the other super middleweight champions can say is he had 6 straight knockout victories, and now he's on his way to a dominating 7th straight victory in defending his title.
The only thing that puzzles me here in the 12th round is Bute has had many opportunities to move in and put this fight away. He's had opportunities to knock Johnson out, and it hasn't happened. I just wonder if there's a little too much respect there.
I don't think so. I really don't. Steve, I got to say, he has thrown hellacious shots at Glen Johnson. I mean, he was blasting him with punches, so I think he wants that knockout. But I think in the last round, he's realized I may not get this knockout, so I've got to fight intelligently.
Yeah, he's hit him with everything, and you know, you can't just go blazing with the guy like Glen Johnson. He's still dangerous, but you know, I think Lucian has done more than enough to prove that he's head and shoulders above his opponent tonight. Oh! He buckled Glen Johnson with an overhand left. He's still going for the knockout, Steve.
And he just got hit with a right hand by Johnson. He's taking lots of chances.
All right, let's see how the final 42 seconds. How ironic with the 42-year-old Glen Johnson.
Oh, now he's landing right hands, finally.
Can Bute put Johnson away in the final 30 seconds? Or will this go to the scorecards with an obvious result?
He's finishing like a champion right now. He's still in position to land that big punch.
The crowd wants a knockout. 5 seconds. It's not going to happen. While we wait for the decision, we are set to take a look at what's coming up on Showtime.
An American prisoner of war has been turned.
Homeland is the most addictive show of the season. Damian Lewis is electrifying.
There are times when you have to stand up for what you believe in.
Claire Danes is phenomenal.
I'm just making sure we don't get hit again.
It is my privilege to welcome you home.
Don't miss the best new drama on TV. Homeland. Tomorrow at 10, only on Showtime.
One-sided, dominating performance by this man, undefeated IBF super middleweight champion Lucian Bute from right here in Quebec City. As we take a look at some final numbers.
These will reflect how Bute controlled this fight. A huge edge in jabs. Of course, we expected that. And the power punches, both body and head shots, Antonio.
Yeah, it was a dominating performance. I mean, the combos landed. The right hook was beautiful. The uppercuts. I mean, he did everything but knock Glен Johnson out. And, you know, it's an A performance on my list.
You know, the only thing he didn't do as much of as I thought was body punching. But, he, you know, that's totally nitpicky because he fought a terrific fight. Even if he put himself in harm's way in some cases when he didn't have to. Right. He did that to entertain us.
And you know what? That's the sign of a super champion.
Yep.
And I just want to see him against the biggest names available.
All right, Antonio, Al, we are set for the decision, so let's send it up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Pasquale Procopio scores about 119 to 109. Jerry Roth and Benoit Roussel both scored about 120 to 108 in favor of the winner, still undefeated and still the champion, Lucian Bute.
No doubt about it, victory for Lucian Bute. Biggest win ever for Bute, his first marquee victory. He does it again in front of his adoring fans here in Canada. 9th successful defense of the IBF super middleweight title. Now 10-0 in world title fights, remains undefeated, hitting the 30-win plateau. 25 of his 30 wins here in Quebec. Jim Gray is set in the ring for post-fight comments. Jim, take it away.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Lucian, congratulations on your fight. Stefan will help us. If you can't get through this entirely in English, we'll understand. How would you assess your performance tonight in a guy against Johnson who you said was the best fighter you've ever faced?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Showtime, to show my fight. I'm very happy. I think it's a great performance for me tonight. I have big respect for Glen Johnson. He's a very tough fighter, very good fighter, more experience. I'm very happy to my performance tonight.
You told us before the fight, you told us after you watched the Froch fight that you were very concerned about Glen Johnson's right hand. He was really never able to get it off tonight. Why were you so effective in not allowing him to throw that right hand?
Comment tu as fait pour l'empêcher de donner sa droite comme ça autant que ça?
J'ai utilisé. I put my jab first of all. I stopped son jab. J'ai arrêté son jab, son attaque.
To avoid Glen Johnson's right hand, you have to avoid his jab. If you let him jab, you're going to get the right hand behind it. So I try to out-jab him as much as I can.
You've knocked out 7 of your last 8 opponents since you've held this title. This is your 10th defense now. Were you disappointed that you were not able to knock him out?
No, I'm very happy. The experience for me in this fight. No, just... No, pas du tout. Pas du tout.
En anglais.
In English, please.
He said, I'm not disappointed. I would have loved to do it, but I knew it's going to be a hard task. But first of all, as I said, I wanted to win the fight. I wanted to put a good performance there.
Je suis très contente de cette soirée-là, de ce combat-là, parce que pour moi, ça amène beaucoup de confiance, beaucoup d'expérience aussi.
If I want to become a better fighter, I need to fight like this. I'm happy about tonight. You know, fighting Glen Johnson is an honor for me, and I did good, but I need fight like this.
Was it hard to fight a friend?
No. I say before the fight, this is the business. This is my job. It's my career. Yeah, I have big respect for it. Now he's my friend.
Will we see you December 17th in Atlantic City for the Ward against Froch fight?
I will be there to see this fight. It's very interesting fight.
And who do you think will win?
I don't know. It's a very close fight. I think. My opinion is Andre Ward win decision.
And would you like to fight the winner?
Of course. It's my dream.
All right, congratulations to you. Let's bring in Glen Johnson. Glen, it's been a terrific career. You fought so well against Carl Froch, and then tonight, seemingly you weren't able to get on track. What was the biggest difference, other than the opponent, obviously, Lucian Bute?
Well, I mean, I thought I won the fight. I used my jab. I beat him to the punch. I hit him with a lot more punches than he hit me with. He just sneaked in a couple of shots and the crowd roared. I don't think he was landing anything. You know, I basically beat him with one hand. You know, I beat him with my jab alone.
I think a lot of people are going to be surprised, Glen, you've been through so many wars, to hear you say you think you won the fight. Based on what?
Based on the fact that I hit him a lot more than he hit me.
Not statistically. Not even close.
I don't see how he can hit me more than I hit him when I steady hit him with the jab and hit him with right hand to the body, when I don't see where he do that in each round more than I did.
Were you pleased with the way you fought? Do you think it was a successful outing?
I mean, yeah, basically that I'm fighting with one hand. You know, I hurt my right hand. It's swelled up right here, and I'm fighting with one hand, and I'm able to beat him with more punches. I think with just one hand. I don't see how.
Is that why we didn't see the big right hand tonight?
That's the reason why you didn't see the big right hand, because his whole in the 4th round is swelled up, and I hit him and the punch grazed off his shoulder and go over his back, and I heard a little pop, and it starts swelling up. You can see the huge difference.
Big difference, yeah.
Two, but I still think I beat him with just the one hand.
You're now going to be 43 years of age. Will you stay and fight at 168, or will you move up to 175, or what are your future plans now, Glen?
I'm fighting at 168. I'm not moving up. You know, I just. You know, it's tough winning the fights on the road in these guys' hometown, when as soon as they do any little thing, the crowd roar and everybody gets swayed by the roaring of the crowd instead of paying attention to what the punch is doing.
Glen, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Steve, back to you.